Good afternoon, class. Thanks for coming in. We're going to start with our second session where we're going to be focusing on the ABCDE model. We're going to be looking at today modifying irrational beliefs within clients with anxiety. So let's get into it. As a part of rational motive behavior therapy, Albert Ellis said it's not really what the issues that come into the life of a client, but it's how they perceive the events in their life. So today we're going to really look at the 5-step process of examining a client's thoughts and how do we modify those thoughts. So when we look at the diagnostic step, there are 3 musts that we will focus on. Number 1, does the client want to win the approval of others? So there's an approval process that might be motivating the anxiety. Number 2 is the thought that, does the irrational thought fit into, I must be treated fairly? Number 3 is, I get what I want or I never get what I want. This is when clients overgeneralize their situations and they either put it in those 2 buckets. So for today, we're going to look at our learning outcomes for today. We're going to identify the first 5 steps of the ABCDE model. We're going to examine the 5-step model through our own experiences. We're going to select the category that irrational thought affects within the individual. And we're going to look to modify irrational belief statements into new belief statements. Now we're going to go into our video.
Welcome to IHR's Institute of Clinical Hypnosis and Related Sciences. In this video, we will talk about how, when we become upset, it is not the events taking place in our lives that upset us, but it is our beliefs that cause us to become depressed, anxious, sad, and so on. To illustrate this, we will be using a simple ABC model developed by Dr. Albert Ellis. In this model, A refers to activating event, which means whatever it is that started things off, a situation, another person's behavior, or our own thoughts about something which has happened. B refers to our beliefs. These beliefs can be about ourselves, others, things, or situations. These beliefs can be specific or generalized. And C, which refers to the consequence, that is our reaction to A in terms of both emotions and behaviors. In order to understand this, let us take an example of 2 boys who have to make individual presentations in front of the same group. This is the first presentation that either of them have ever made in their lives, and both of them have prepared very well for the same. Yet, the first boy at the time of presentation gets nervous, goes blank, and his presentation goes for a toss. Whereas the second boy is confident and makes the presentation effectively. Both these boys were in exactly the same situations, but their emotional and behavioral response was different. For both the boys, the activating event was facing the audience. For the first boy, the activating event triggered a belief that I am not capable and not good enough, which led to the feeling of nervousness resulting in poor presentation. For the second boy, the activating event triggered a belief that I am capable and good, which led to the feeling of confidence resulting in effective presentation. Once we understand our behavior through the ABC model, in order to create a positive change in our behavior, we can add a D and an E to the same. D represents disputing irrational beliefs and E represents creating effective new belief. Going back to the earlier example, let us understand the application of D and E for the boy who got nervous. So if we were to dispute the original belief that I am not capable and not good in a way that we could break it along with creating an effective new belief that I am capable and good, the boy would now begin to feel confident, which given the fact that he is well prepared will help him deliver effectively. I would like to end this video with a request that if you have liked it and found it useful, Do share it with your friends and family. You can also follow us on social networks or subscribe to our newsletter by visiting our website.
So now we're going to move into activity 1. So last week I gave you guys the ABCDE worksheet. And so right now what I want you guys to do independently is to think about a situation, a very intense situation where you had some very distressful thoughts, and take yourself through the ABCDE process. Okay? And then once you're done, we'll have our second set of directions. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to do that. About a 10-second warning. Should be wrapping up. So as we reviewed in the video, so we're looking at the A as being the activating event, then we need to look within the client to see what is their belief system about that thought of what happened, and then what was the emotional consequence of that. And then D is really where it's important for us to really focus on when we're working with clients and helping them to dispute that irrational belief. And that's where we're going to really help them to reorganize how they think about the event and to reframe that in a more appropriate or positive way. And then E is the expected new behavior. So that's really the goal of treatment, is really helping the client. Not that we can control their situations, but we want to help them to modify how they see the event. So thank you guys for taking the time to do your own personal journey on the ABCDE worksheet, because I think that through your experience of looking at how you look at things, we're going to be able to help our clients to change their thoughts regarding that. So now that we've done that piece, what I want you guys to do is to connect with your partner, and I want you guys to work together and share together and present to each other your different scenario. And then I also want us to come up with one new way or one new modification in that thought, okay? And then we're going to present back out. So I'll give you guys another 5 minutes to work together in pairs, and then we'll share out to the larger group. Thank you.
Yeah, I would identify the third bucket. I must get what I wanted. How would you tell me when I really wanted to be the third? The one that was first. I don't think the first bucket primarily focuses more on approval. I was seeking his approval. I don't think I was seeking like compliance with automatic compliance of the person. Right, so I did very much. So, I think we should get back to that. Questions. Great. The consequences for this. So my repeat answer was maybe I will be but I did have that because I wanted to understand, why that was great. But I think I could exactly for me not question it in my state of frustration. Exactly. But just encourage myself, you know, that I can do better instead of being discouraged. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, you know. So, kind of been successful in other classes. Yeah, or you knew you were capable, like it wasn't. But, you know, like I think that more than good, you know.
About 2 more minutes.
I agree.
About 1 more minute, actually. Ready to wrap up so we can get to the sharing out. Okay. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you guys. There was a lot of discussion, so I'm excited to hear back to hear where everybody's thoughts were and what was hard about it, what was easy about it, what you learned from it. So okay, so I'm gonna have Carrie and Tasha's group go first, and you can report out the ABCDE.
Okay, so the situation that I reflected on was a situation that happened when my son was in 7th grade. I asked him how his school day went, and which was a normal question. Instead of answering my question, he began to accuse me of being nosy and getting all in his business, and then he told me to mind my own business. And I was thinking how frustrated and angry I was with him and how rude and disrespectful he was being at the time. And because that anger was so filling, I didn't stop and think. Instead, I just really started, you know, yelling at him. He completely shut down. I completely shut down. We went our separate ways. And it was a really, you know, not a very productive experience. And looking at my thoughts, I was thinking like he was doing this because I was a young mother, and he was treating me as his buddy or his pal instead of respecting me as an authority figure. And going back and challenging that, I think I was probably projecting my own insecurities, and maybe thinking of it from the fact that maybe he needed some space, maybe he wasn't ready to share. I was looking for what I needed, some kind of immediate compliance or answer to my question. You know, right now, I need to get what I want, which is an answer from him, instead of really having the understanding, giving him space and time, maybe setting up a time for us to share together. And so that's what I learned.
And so were you able to modify your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, that those insecurities probably came from within and not from my son. And instead of thinking about, you know, that he might have been yelling at something and needed time and space, I was projecting my own insecurities on him.
And then which bucket do you think it would have fallen into? Approval, fairly, or what I want? Or I don't get what I want?
So when we were talking, I really thought it was that third bucket, because I was looking for what I needed at that exact minute, and I needed to get exactly what I wanted, which was an answer from him, and I didn't look at it from his perspective.
Yeah, great.
How about you?
So, my activating event was a class that I failed, which I had to take over. My belief was that I thought I was targeted, because I sent what could be an offensive email to my professor questioning my grades.
Yep.
So, the consequences, what I felt, I was angry, a little discouraged, a little disappointed, and, so, you know, feeling that way, you know, of course I questioned my grade again.
Yep.
You know, to dispute my thoughts, I have to think that maybe I wasn't targeted, even though, I don't know, I think I had every right to question my grade. You know, maybe my effective new thoughts would be like, don't always think negative first. You know, encourage myself to do better. Maybe I could have waited until I calmed down to send an email, question my grade. I think I fell into like, the not being treated fairly.
Fairly.
Yeah,
So that bucket.
that bucket.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, Jackie.
Mine was, someone asked me to be a part of a group presentation, and, initially I was like, oh my goodness, it was a group of people who I kind of respect, and I was like, I feel like I should be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like, you had to be perfect to be a part of that group, and, I also feel like I don't present like my peers.
Yeah.
So it kind of, had me feeling really nervous, really afraid, and, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But eventually, I did say yes. I was what I did to just keep my thoughts. I had to think about, I do have the knowledge.
Yeah.
I studied the materials, and I've done presentations before. So I had to really go back and think about what are some of the things that I can do, not focusing on my fears of what I can't,
Yeah.
or the approval of others. So the new thought was I am capable of doing anything that I put my mind to. If I work towards it, being myself is good enough, and not being afraid of a challenge.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
So the event that I had thought about was like getting ready for one of my kids' birthday parties.
Yep.
And there's so much to do, with too much to do and not enough time. Because I wanted to plan a perfect party and everything's go flawless. So I was feeling overwhelmed. I was tired. Easily agitated. Once one person moved something, I'm like, oh, it's out of place now.
Yep.
So moving around quickly. So to dispute those thoughts and those feelings, I was like, I got this, like, everything's gonna go as planned. And so then next time I'm gonna ask for assistance, not take everything on myself.
Yeah.
And tell myself everything's gonna work out. Nobody's gonna miss that extra little thing, nobody's gonna notice that if something's out of place.
Very good. And which bucket do you think was driving those thoughts for you?
The approval.
The approval.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we had examples from each, right? Jackie, I'm sorry, I forgot. Which one was yours? Approval as well. Yeah. So it was a great exercise. I hope you guys enjoyed that exercise, because I think it's critical as we do therapy and we work with clients. We need to understand, number one, we have those same feelings, and so and it's a struggle for us, and so how do we support them to really change that narrative, change that thought process, and create a different way of looking at a really stressful event. Okay, so I think we have time for one more activity, and then we are going to wrap up. Okay, so I believe I gave you guys the statement. I gave you guys the statement sheets, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to choose one of these statements, and then I need you guys to practice modifying that irrational thought. And so everyone will get an opportunity. So you guys can just pass that sheet around and choose one of the statements, and then we'll present each of the new thoughts. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to do that. probably not going to get to everyone's examples, so I'm going to choose two volunteers to come up and give their example, and then we'll wrap up because we have another class coming in soon.
Come up, you want to start?
Yeah.
Or just,
Yeah, you can come up.
okay, cool. So, should I use this?
Yeah, you can, whatever you're comfortable with. You have a choice. So, I chose that I must always be in control. So, I must always be in control. And I selected that one because it really does hit home for me. I have a very hard time giving up control. And I modified this to say I need to really learn how to accept that not everything is or will be perfect. And that's okay. This gives me a lot of anxiety, releasing control either to other people because I'm afraid it won't get done. Either it won't get done or it won't get done how I foresee it. And that's also okay. You know, growth and learning is a process for everybody. And I need to kind of take some deep breaths and keep that positive, you know, as long as I've tried my best and done the best that I can, I was prepared as possible, whatever will be, and be satisfied with that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If anyone who wants to go, we have time for one more. One more?
You go?
Thanks.
So I don't have to write.
No, it's your choice.
Okay.
So, I chose I don't have much of a future. And so to, you know, rewrite that, I think that, your future isn't always determined by your past, or your current, you know, every day is a new day, you know, so that's how I would rewrite that statement.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
So I hope that, I think we're gonna wrap up. I hope that this was, helpful and eye-opening, especially from a clinical standpoint, because again, we need to be in tune on how we deal with our own emotions so that we can help clients to help them reframe their emotions. And I just wanna do a quick little, like, 3 checklists, because, you know, as we're working and developing this skill, I want you to kind of be reflective on what do you think were the 3 most important things that you learned today or that you would use integrating this within the work with your clients?
The process really was the part that I really took in the moment that we can talk it out and we can have conversations about it, but to actually put it on paper and break it down in steps could be valuable for your clients and definitely for yourself as well.
Number 2, so knowing there is a process to look at modifying those thoughts. Yep. Number 2, any other things that you would want to, a takeaway?
To kind of go off what Jackie had said, it's nice that if you use the paper as a worksheet, you have something to go back and reflect after the process.
Okay. So tools, right? Your
Yeah.
tools? And number 3, what do you think is important?
I really loved the addition of the D and E to the ABC process because really disputing those negative thoughts will change your belief.
Right.
And then showing how that the effective new beliefs and thoughts will help you become, you know, successful or overcome that challenge or negativity.
I mean, it looks at it's reflective going forward versus just getting stuck on
Exactly.
negative piece.
And I think that's the critical piece for us to work with our clients, is helping them to understand that they don't have to get stuck in their emotions, that there are different ways of looking at it. If they can kind of, you know, deal with the stress, it's okay, life is stressful, but if we change the way we think about that stress, that we can move forward. So I hope everyone learned a lot today. I had a lot of fun. It was very, a great group process, and we'll pick up from here next week. Thanks a lot for coming in, guys.
Thank you.